It's showtime, folks. Welcome in. Chasing Big Joe, 1025, 1063, the game here on this Monday. Hope you're having a great start to your day, to your week. He's Big Joe Dubin. I'm Chase McCabe. Dr. Crane, Nick Frazier on the ones and twos. This morning, the madness shall begin. There's a lot of people obsessed with that, but
well, it's okay though, man.
It is. It is. Look, we're about to get to the greatest 2 days in sports, or two of the greatest 2 days in sports.
Yes.
A lot of people will take time off. I think I have read that it's the most popular time to get a vasectomy if you're a man.
It is.
So
we're going to be live from a clinic on Thursday.
Early in the morning appointments.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, there's a lot going on. The Titans continue to tinker with their roster as well. But you know what? I'm going to start off with something completely different.
Sure.
Shout out to Hendersonville's own Josh Berry getting his first NASCAR Cup Series win yesterday for the Wood Brothers in the 21 in Las Vegas. He had a very, very, very good race car, takes the lead late in the race, and gets his first Cup Series win. So really cool to see another Middle Tennessean and somebody from Henderson, a race car driver from Hendersonville, get him a win.
I think I've heard that before.
I think you have, yeah.
Good for him.
Joseph Newgarden. And one of Josh Berry's claims to fame is he had a class at Hendersonville High School with Taylor Swift.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Robbie Stanley.
He may have. I don't know.
I'm more impressed by Robbie Stanley than I am by Taylor Swift. So that's good for Josh.
Actually, yeah. I mean, I guess Josh and Robbie would have been there at the same time.
Josh Berry. Yeah. Like 2010, 2011 class graduated there.
Josh is 34, and I think Robbie's
that'd be
around that
2009 or 10. So yeah, probably about the same. I'm probably Josh Berry stuffed Robbie Stanley in a locker.
No, I think it'd be the other way around.
And then Bruce Hatfield, the coach, came and yanked him out and said, "You two boys get along or else." And then Josh went to racing, and Robbie came with us. Robbie made the right decision.
He did. Covering hockey and working with all of us. So
shout
out to Josh.
Can I point something out real quick? And Dr. Crane, I need you on this.
Yeah.
Chase McCabe, the boss here, is not wearing green. So do I get to pinch you?
No, don't touch me. Look, there's a reason, and it's my reason. I hate St. Patrick's Day.
Okay.
So
did you and St. Patrick get into it at school?
Just it not a positive day for me.
Okay.
And I'm not wearing green.
All right.
It's all good.
All right. So Dr. Crane, kill all those bump ins we had for St. Patrick's Day.
No, that's fine. Y'all celebrate. I don't care for it.
Still gonna pinch you later on.
Don't touch me.
Dr. Crane, are you wearing green
too?
Are you wearing green today?
I am. I'm wearing green pants.
Are you really?
I am. See?
Robbie says not well. He was a couple of years older.
Okay. Thanks for listening, Robbie.
Yeah.
For all that.
There you go.
All right. So I wore green today just because I like this one day. But I had green eyes, so I'm good.
Yeah. I don't own a lot of green. I guess it's just not my favorite color.
It's okay. Green's a
more
great
of a
color.
blue thing.
Are you the blue thing? Okay.
Yeah.
Hey man, to each his own, pal.
Yep.
Just know that.
But don't touch me.
Don't touch me. Was that a big thing when you're in high school?
Yeah.
Because it was a big deal. People like, stop pinching me.
My grandmother died on St. Patrick's Day.
Oh, okay.
So it just kind of, it's just one of those days where I'm like,
Okay.
So I don't even remember it's St. Patrick's Day. That's the problem.
Right. I will tell you, on my way in this morning, I passed by McNamara's in Donaldson.
Yeah. Great place.
Already packed.
Good.
At 8:45 this morning. Already packed. So do what you got to do on St. Patrick's Day. Just be careful.
Yeah. There you go. So yeah, be careful out there for sure. Titans release Chidobe Awuzie over the weekend. Not really that surprised by that move. He's oft injured, almost 30-year-old player, good player. I liked the signing when they made it, but he played half the season last year, and this new regime basically looking at that saying, we need guys that can be on the field. I think Brownlee and Baker really impressed last year, and so ultimately they decided to move on from Awuzie. I guess you could read, if you're trying to read the tea leaves, you could say, well, does that mean maybe they like Justin Hunter? Travis Hunter, and might want to take him, with the first overall pick. He's basically declared as a corner. I don't think so. I still am saying that signs are all pointing to Cam Ward coming to the Titans with the first overall pick, but You can, if you want to read it that way, you can. But I just think this was a guy that was hurt too much, and they decided to move on.
I don't even know what number that dude was. I mean, he
13.
was he 13?
Yep.
So he had a lot of guaranteed money, did he not? So they pay him all that?
That I don't know. I'd have to go back and look.
So just another disaster from the Ran and Brinker regime at that time that goes on. So goodbye, take care of yourself, move forward. I like it. You know, if you're not going to contribute and you're hurt all the time, take care of yourself and go forward, you know, and maybe, you know, with all these 1-year deals that these guys are signing, you know, there's teams that now are taking that 1-year approach, kind of reset your team, figure things out. If you're good for 1 year, re-sign you to a 4 or 5 year deal. If you're not a good fit for 1 year, get out of it. But I think we're going to see more and more 1-year deals in the National Football League as teams. Because look, there's about 3/4 of them are going to try to reset their team in balance. And if you're going to a long-term deal, and this guy's proven he can't stay on the field healthy, see ya. Goodbye.
So with them releasing him, it's a $12.5 million dead cap hit, but they save over $1.7 million in cap savings.
I don't know what any of that means. Yeah. I'm sorry.
Jared's going to say the cap is fake, and I'm starting to kind of believe him. I mean, it's not fake, but it's monopoly money.
You know, for example,
you can move stuff around.
Like the Dodgers and Ohtani, right? Isn't he getting more when he's like 60 than he is now? I mean,
something like that.
Something crazy like that. So I don't know how it all works and goes on, but I just think if you're not going to contribute, you're going to be hurt all the time, then you're of no value of this. You're making a lot of money. It's just the way it is, man. At the end of the day, it still is a business. So
yeah,
take care of yourself, and thanks for the time spent in Nashville, like many others, 1 and 1 out, and hit the road, man.
So by my count, the corners on the roster right now: L'Jarius Sneed, Roger McCreary, Daryl Baker, Jarvis Brownlee, and former Vol Gabe Judy Lally.
All right, I would get rid of Sneed because he sucks, and then go with those guys and build out through the draft.
They're not going to get rid of Sneed
or free agency. He's terrible too.
Oh, he's hurt.
So you're hurt.
Yeah.
Hit the road. You're hit.
Can't make the club in the tub, right?
Chaser, I'm going to pinch you.
Don't
touch
me.
Hey, just get him out of here and take care of you guys. Look, it's a rebuild, man. The whole thing is a rebuild. And I'm here for all this. I still don't think Chase Moore, think about it. I think that number 1 pick gets traded. I really do. And I think here's the domino effect. I was listening to Robbie and Rex Road. Rodgers goes to Minnesota. Russell Wilson goes back to Pittsburgh. And the Giants have no one. And they're going to say, we want the number 1 pick. Shades of 2004. We want the number 1 pick.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, it could certainly happen that way. I mean, here's my question. With this draft, in this year's draft, with the talent there in this year's draft, where I think we can all sit here and agree that there's really not a player worthy of 1-1. Like, I don't think there is a true 1-1 in this year's draft. There has to be by default,
right?
But there really isn't one. Is this the year where you would almost value moving back a few spots to get a 3rd round pick because you don't have one based on all the needs that you have? Is this the year where maybe that's a little more important than taking 1-1?
Yeah, and here's
if you
the
take 1-3 and you get a 3rd round pick to round, that's going to be a good 3rd round pick to round out your draft. Isn't that a little bit more valuable?
I think so. And I think if the Giants come to you and they're that desperate, you could bully them for so much.
100%.
Bully them. And then who's to say this Brandon Allen guy can't be your starting quarterback for a year? Kenny and I mean, doesn't he have Kimmy Callahan are buddies? So there's your little kind of in between those two guys. Why can't Brandon Allen be your bridge? Why does it have to be Aaron Rodgers? Why does it be Russell Wilson? Why can't Brandon Allen do it? And what if Brandon Allen is somewhat good? Then you're like, all right, then you get a quarterback next year.
I don't think so. I mean, I think he's a backup.
But I think you could gobble up so much. You get so many needs instead of getting Cam Ward and throw him to the wolves in game 1. This is going to be a lot of fun now to see how they do it.
Yeah.
And when they walk up there on that Thursday night in Lambeau Field with the number 1 pick, will we know there's been a trade already? Probably not. We've probably been working in the background for everything that goes on. And he walks up there, and then Goodell's like, there's been a trade, and we're going to lose our mind.
Love it. What if they, like a week before the draft, they get to a point where Atlanta finally releases Kirk Cousins? Then is Kirk Cousins in play? as your bridge.
Not a week before.
Well, I mean, closer to the draft. I mean, he probably isn't going to move until after the draft. If he
they
moves
paid
at
him
all.
$10 million and they're going to move
Yeah.
him. Just ridiculous.
Well, what it tells me is they're not sold. That's what it tells me. I think they're basically now like, if you blow us away, we'll trade him to you, but we're not completely sold on Penix, so we're gonna hang on to him.
No, I'll pass. I'm telling you, man.
Yeah, I'm not trading for him.
Let this fall in place. Let the Giants become desperate, and because they're New York and their fans are clamoring for it, and they get the number one pick and all that goes with it. And Titans, I would just sit back and just start gobbling like Pac-Man. I would just start gobbling things up, left and right, get those draft choices and pull off the Jimmy Johnson, Herschel Walker kind of trade back in the late 80s. Just get as much as you can. Now then it's up to you to figure out talent.
Yeah.
But I'd rather have that thing than get a number one quarterback and let him sit there and who knows what happens.
615-737-1025. That's our phone and text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. You can weigh in on anything that we were talking about, including the madness. The madness is here. The field is set. 14 SEC teams are in the big dance, which is a record, but 2 of those are local from the SEC. There's another local team that made it as well in Lipscomb. We'll discuss that and much more coming up next. Chasing Big Joe on this Monday, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. A lot of people will take time off. I think I have read that it's the most popular time to get a vasectomy if
It
you're a
is.
man.
It is.
So
So we're gonna be live from a clinic on Thursday.
Early in the morning appointments.
Right.
I said that I wanted to have kids, and you said that you wanted me to have a vasectomy. What did I do? And then, when you said that you might want to have kids, and I wasn't so sure, who had the vasectomy reversed? And then when you said you definitely didn't want to have kids, who had it reversed back? Snip, snap, snip, snap, snip, snap. I did. You've no idea the physical toll that 3 vasectomies have on a person.
Michael Scott.
Oh my God. That
Always making us laugh.
is the funniest Office episode of all time. That's the dinner party. That is
Yes.
just
Oh, the dinner
fantastic.
party is a great one. That is for sure. Welcome back in. Chasing Big Joe, 1025, 1063 The Game here on this Monday. The brackets are out, and everybody's going to be filling their brackets out. But if you fill one out, please go to thegamenashville.com and download your bracket. You can go to thegamenashville.com/game bracket, print off your bracket, very old school, and fill it out. Presented by Toyota. Fuel your adrenaline at toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places. And it's also brought to you by thenewcumberland.com, Twin Peaks, and Bet365.
so. A question for today. How many brackets should you fill out?
I mean, there's people that'll fill out like 20.
Me.
I fill out one,
Okay.
usually.
So there should not be a parameter put on you or
Yeah,
whoever
no.
to do that.
You know me very well, right?
Yes.
And one of the things about me, and if Ricky's listening, he's going to laugh. When you tell me I have to do something, or you keep pushing me to do something, I
Right.
no longer have interest in it and want to do it.
Good job.
That's kind of how I've become with brackets.
Mhm.
Like people keep, you fill this out, fill this out, fill it. Like, I don't care. I just want to watch the games.
Yeah.
And so I'm kind of one of those, just like, you do you, and you enjoy what you enjoy.
Mhm.
Leave me alone. I'll do my thing.
So you'll go to thegamenashville.com, fill out your bracket, and then you're good to go.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So thegamenashville.com/game bracket, print it off, fill it out, and there you go. That's what I'll do.
All right. But but don't tell me what I can't do.
Yeah.
So
You do you.
somebody, I was live. I think Connor Newt this weekend was like, I think this is right, Dr. Crane, about the bracket talk about you get 3.
Yeah, I think he tweeted about it or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, one that you feel you really believe in, one's goofy, and then one other one was for
Your gut or analytical viewpoint,
something like that. Yeah, but I saw a lot of people go off of what he's talking about. Like you only get 3, and that's 3. No, man, I'll probably do 15 of them, and I don't care what you think.
it's in like chapter 4 of Newt's rule book of fandom or something. You have to check it out. It's on Amazon.
It's a good book. Well done.
Yeah. There's too many rules.
Right?
Too many rules in this world now. Just do whatever you want. Tennessee going in as a 2 seed. Vanderbilt gets a 10 seed. I think if Vanderbilt if they can play good Vandy games, they'll win a game in the tournament.
They look terrible versus Texas.
They did. I mean, that's what worries me is they're not quite there at the consistency level that they need to be at. So, it's kind of hurt them, but I'm glad they got in. I don't think Texas deserved to get in, but they got in. Everybody's complaining about Carolina getting in.
Yes.
You want to know why?
Yes.
You want to know why North Carolina got in?
Simple reason.
They're North Carolina. That's why.
Well, the committee chair
Yeah, but they're North Carolina.
is their AD.
Right.
And so it's like one side's like, well, their non-conference is really good. That's why they should get in. Then there's other teams like, well, their non-conference was good too, but they're in conference, blah, blah. I thought you had to leave the room when they talk about your team.
I don't know. I don't know the rule.
Because I was talking to Chris Massaro and we were laughing. He's like, hey, if MTSU comes up in the college football playoff, I have to leave the room. So, you're the committee chair. When I read he was the committee chair, the North Carolina AD, I'm like, they're getting in. I don't care how many quad 1 wins or how many quad stretches they do. They're in, and they got in. And so now I hope they get pounded. They play tomorrow night or Wednesday night and lose and out of it. It's ridiculous. They play UC San Diego, I think.
Who is that?
Carolina.
Yeah.
So get out of here. So it
Yeah.
happens.
And MTSU and the NIT.
Love it.
Yeah.
Playing
They'll host the game tomorrow.
Chattanooga tomorrow night.
Yeah, so that'll be good. In the NIT, it was tough. I mean, that Conference USA tournament, you knew it was going to be Jacksonville State, Liberty, or Middle, and Middle coming up just a little bit short, but at least they get an NIT berth and can keep the postseason going. So hopefully they can run the table there. But shout out to Lipscomb
Yeah.
making the big dance.
Iowa State.
I think they can beat Iowa State. Iowa State's best player is hurt, from what I understand.
Right. It's a good team, though.
They are a good team, but I think Lipscomb's a really good team. I mean, this is the time of year. This is what I love about March Madness. We see these, mid-majors, non-power 4 teams that nobody talks about all year long.
Mhm.
Nobody sees all year long. And then it's like, oh, okay, they're going to be a 14 seed or whatever. And then they come in and they upset because it's like, hey, you know what? Just because they're mid-major doesn't make them a bad team. They're actually really good.
They are. I got to see Florida up in action. Florida comes at you in waves. And it's like, you go to the beach, a wave keeps going. It's not going to stop, not going to stop. Watching Florida play against Alabama, and this destroyed him. And they toyed with Tennessee yesterday. Tennessee played tough, and they were there, but there was never any doubt that Florida was not going to win that game. And my good, I mean, they are so tall, they are so big, they're so fast, and they have so much depth. Just watching that basketball team up and down the court, and Walter Clayton Jr. is, I'm telling you,
I'm telling you right now.
Yep.
Florida's winning the whole thing.
Mark it down. Mark that.
Florida is winning the whole thing. Florida is the best team in the country.
They're good.
They're really good.
Yep.
And I think there are really good teams, not just in the SEC. Auburn's really good. I think Tennessee's really good. I think they get streaky sometimes.
Auburn, to me, did not care about this tournament off what happened last year.
And that worries me. That does worry me.
That
it's like, oh, okay. Like Bruce, it's not like Bruce is out there going, don't try. But it's like, hey, we're gonna save our next level for the next tournament.
Yeah, and they should, because they saw what happened last year. They got bounced in the first round, and I think Bruce, like, look, the tournament's fun, but when you're in that position, you're already in. You know where you are, know what's going to happen, and so you just go out there and have a good time. But I think Barnes mentioned in the presser on Friday about winning the tournament. If they did, he goes, the only thing I don't like about this, if you win the tournament on Sunday and they give you the early game on a Thursday. He goes, I don't like that. So Florida's playing evening on Friday. So it's another day and a half of rest to get ready. I think they're playing in the Raleigh regional or whatever quadrant part of that. So, but they're just so good, man. But shout out to Tennessee. I mean, watching Zakai Ziegler play basketball is something else. That guy is everywhere, and he's hard to stop. And it's fun to watch him. And let me go a little bit further. You might think this is crazy. The SEC basketball tournament, I think, has become the best sporting event in the country.
You're not wrong. It was
Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
It was fun this year. Can I just say this?
Yeah.
Can the basketball gods give us something? Tennessee, Kentucky in the Sweet 16.
Be good.
I mean, how cool would that be? And it could happen. You got Illinois against Texas or Xavier in the first round, because Texas Xavier will play. Kentucky and Troy in that bracket. UCLA, Utah State, and then Tennessee and Wofford. And so if Tennessee can get through that and get to the Sweet 16, Kentucky do the same thing, we get Tennessee, Kentucky in the Sweet 16, which would be cinema, as they say.
I'd like that. Where's that Midwest bracket? Where's the Midwest games being played?
Lexington.
Oh, no, Lexington's this weekend.
Yeah, Lexington's this weekend. I don't know where that would be. I'd have to look. But it'd be cool. You got some really good, matchups here. McNeese State, coached by Will Wade, going to take on Clemson, which was a team that's actually where he went to school. So that's interesting.
You graduated with him?
No, I graduated with his brother. Will was like 5 years older than me.
Oh, okay.
But his brother Jay and I are the same age.
Well, he's already mentioned for the NC State job.
Yeah, I think he'll get another chance. I mean, especially now that everything he kind of got in trouble for is legal. So,
well, they ran him through the ringers, didn't they, man?
Yeah, it's because he was on tape, the strong ass offer thing. But everybody was doing it. He just got caught
because of his language too.
Yeah. Vanderbilt takes on St. Mary's, obviously, which will be good. Is Bryce Drew still at Grand Canyon?
He is.
So he gets Grand Canyon in again. They take on Maryland, and they had a kind of a little bit of a run last year. which is Grand Canyon gets both the men's and women's team in. So I was looking at that last night that, there's a handful of teams that have both programs in, which is really cool. Vanderbilt being one of them, Tennessee being one of them.
27 universities.
27?
Mhm.
That's cool. That's really cool to see that.
I thought Penny Hardaway was on his way out, but evidently, and they won the tournament.
Memphis is good, man.
Memphis is pretty good, man.
Yeah, Memphis is good. Yeah, we haven't mentioned them. They're in as well. So from the state of Tennessee, you have Tennessee, Memphis, Vanderbilt, Lipscomb.
Yes. And then if you add the NIT, you got Chattanooga, middle. I think that's it.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Take that. And then on the women's side, Tennessee, Vanderbilt, I know. Middle
They're
not.
They're in the WBIT. Is that the WNIT, but they put a B in there now?
I don't know.
They're playing Belmont.
Yeah.
The middle women are playing Belmont. So I don't know. It's always something that's changing. So I know what the WNIT was. I know also what WNBC is as well. So that's you're still playing, and that's a good thing. And for all these teams that have a second life, good, man.
Right. By the way, Mark Byington going to join Jared today at 4:00. So you can hear from the Vanderbilt basketball coach today at 4. And I don't know if I know Robbie and Rexroad talked to Rick Barnes sometime. I don't know if they're able to pull that off this week or not, but that would be pretty cool as well. Do you think, and answer this on the other side, but this is something that I kind of had, this was the bar talk this weekend. Is this maybe a different tournament for Rick Barnes? And I'll explain what I mean by that coming up next. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3, The Game. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3, The Game here on this Monday, broadcasting from the Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville studios. Home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership, where the buzz is always about great service. Talking March Madness, the brackets are out. You go to theGameNashville.com/game bracket to fill out your bracket if you see fit. Please do that. Rick Barnes, here's my thing on him. I would think he's probably got a few more years left to coach or whatever, but whenever a guy gets to a certain age, 70 is where Coach Barnes is, you start thinking like, how much more do they want to do this, especially in seeing somebody like Nick Saban, Roy Williams, Coach K, the last few years, that the game has changed so much, that there's the transfer portal and NIL and all these things. Do they get to a point where I just don't want to deal with this crap anymore? Barnes has been a very successful coach. Obviously, we saw what he did at Texas, and then since he's been at Tennessee, but one Final Four appearance? Is that right?
That is it with Texas.
How many times do you want to take another bite at the apple? That's my question. And I think he's got a team good enough to get to the Final Four this year. I don't know if they're good enough to win the whole thing, but he's got a team good enough to get to the Final Four. The question is, will they be able to do it? Because we've seen so many times, with his teams in March that they have one clunker. And, that's the thing. This team has had some clunkers this year that you never know when they're really going to pop up offensively. And can they overcome that enough to win the game and continue to advance?
I think he can determine when he wants to leave. I think he's still having
100%.
fun. He's winning games. So because somebody, again, here we go with the age, why somebody hit 70, why he's done now. No, he's not. Coach, as long as you want, do what you can. You control everything that goes on in that program right now. Are you having fun? Are you having fun coaching? That's the bottom line. Are you having fun coaching? You got a staff who can do the NIL and figure things out that way, but are you having fun coaching? He seemed to be having fun. I mean, he hates losing, obviously, but look what he's done. Look, it's tough to get to the Final Four.
Sure.
I said, Rex will note this morning about Izzo being the most overrated coach of all time.
That got him fired up.
It did. But, they won a title in 2000, but you think about it, Izzo's a great coach. You're like, he's only won one title? I mean, it's tough to get there and do those things. So I give him a little leeway. People love to rip on him because he's regular season Rick. But think about this. Vanderbilt's never been to – has Vanderbilt ever been to an Elite Eight? I don't think so. I don't think so. I know they've not been to a Final Four. In my lifetime, I don't think they've ever been – they've been to a Sweet 16. They've never been to an Elite Eight. So it's tough getting there. And the job he's done and getting it done and the competition, Florida and Auburn and all the – Georgia made the damn tournament this year. So a lot of things go on. As long as you're still having fun, coach until you drop dead. I remember Bobby Bowden talking about – leaving. He's like, what am I going to do? I don't like to fish. I like to coach. So you coach it till you can't, to keep doing that. So with Rick Barnes, stay as long as you want, Bubba, whatever you want to do.
And he should. I mean, look, he has turned that program around. I mean, he's the most successful coach they've had in a long time. Obviously Bruce had a good run in the early 2000s before.
How dare you talk about Wade Houston that way? You're too young.
Yeah,
Houston,
I said it in a long time.
Wade Houston was the worst college basketball coach that Tennessee's ever had. He was absolutely.
Was it Ray Mears that
awful.
was good?
Ray Mears was good. Don DeVoe was good.
Yeah.
And then Wade Houston came in because he was able to recruit one of the best players ever in Tennessee history, his son, Allen Houston.
Yeah, I was about to say.
And then they had Kevin O'Neal, who was terrible. I mean, Tennessee basketball was awful throughout the 90s. And then they got Jerry Green from Oregon who came in and turned them around, and they made a Sweet 16 and lost to Carolina in 2000. And then they got
Buzz Peterson,
Jordan's buddy they came in there, and then Bruce showed up and then took him at a different level. And then who was it? Konzo.
Yep.
And then it was the Pug, Tyndall.
No.
For 1 year.
Was it other way around?
I think it was Konzo, then Tyndall.
I thought it was Tyndall, then Konzo.
You can look it up. I think it was.
You may be right.
And then Tyndall, the Pug, got booted, and then they got lucky when Texas said sayonara to Rick Barnes, and then Barnes came to Knoxville, and the rest is history. Tyndall was another disaster.
He was. Yeah, you're right. 2015. Well, no,
Tyndall,
hang on. I
yeah.
want the.
That's right.
I
You can
hate,
just
I
say
hate the internet.
You can
Yeah,
say
you're
I'm okay.
right.
Thank
So
you,
it
buddy.
was Konzo, then Tyndall.
Yep. And so what he's done now is put him on a different level. Good for him, man. I mean, they have. I see this team can make a Final Four run. It's just so much competition, man. And that's the deal, and that's why we love it.
That is indeed why we love it. 615-737-1025. Clay, it's your time to shine, my man. Talk about your Commodores. What's up, Clay?
Well, let me start by saying that, Big Joe,
Yeah.
there will be no donut delivery at 10:15. Sorry, pal, but maybe another day this week. How about that?
What do you have better doing that you can't bring us donuts?
He's booking tickets to Cleveland because they'll actually let him in.
That's a good point there, Chase. Big Joe, one
Yeah.
more thing before I get to my NCAA talk.
Sure.
Now, tell Chase what time I called you on the telephone last night. You said, "Why are you calling me?"
Like 9
What time
o'clock,
was it?
wasn't it?
It was later than that, I think.
It was something like that. My phone popped up and said, Crazy Clay. I'm like, I got to answer this phone call. Clay, let me ask you a question. All right.
Uh-huh.
Are you wearing green today?
I am not. I didn't. You know what? I did not even think about it being St. Patrick's Day. So maybe somebody ought to, pinch me.
Okay. All right. What's your question or comment?
So, at the end of the day, I'm really happy about this. I think Vanderbilt was treated very favorably considering the way they finished the regular season and then the way they played. The first half down at Bridgestone was probably their worst half offensively of the season. I mean, they just couldn't run offense. Texas, really beat them up. And they just couldn't do anything. Now, where this team, always fights back, they played pretty well in the second half, cut it to 7, and that's what they lost by. But at the end of the day, given everything, to get a 10 seed, to not be in Dayton, to be relatively, close to this side of the country in a way they didn't send us to freaking Seattle, like, a lot of times Vanderbilt gets sent to. So I'm overly joyed about this. So I absolutely salute Mark Byington and these kids. I mean, here's a coach that comes in first year at Vanderbilt, first year in the SEC, first year big time college basketball. No slam on JMU there, but this is the big time. This is the SEC, probably the best conference there's ever been. If you talk about this year and how strong it was, so I'm overjoyed about this. I am considering going. I'm not sure yet.
Go. Why would you not go?
Well, it's I don't know, Big Joe.
You got money. You can do this.
If I could go, I would go.
Go do that. Go see your team play. Call up Darius Garland. Say, hey, Darius, it's me, CC. I need a place to stay. He's got plenty of rooms. He's not even know you're going to be there. Stay there and then watch your Commodore and then go to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame on Friday or Saturday, whatever it is.
So probably it's Quicken Loans Arena, I would imagine, right?
Yeah.
Where they're playing.
Yeah.
2:15 Friday afternoon. So, yeah, congratulations to them. I'm happy about it. Coach
Clay.
Byington did a fabulous job.
Clay, when's the last time you saw Vanderbilt play in person?
The last time I saw Vanderbilt play in person, the Xavier NIT game, Scottie Pippen's last year, which would have been spring of 22, so coming up on 3 years.
So you drove to Cincinnati for that?
Game live. What's that?
You drove to Cincinnati for that?
Yes, I did.
All right, then just go about 5 hours more north. You get to Cleveland. You could do this.
Got you, Big Joe. So maybe donuts if I have to leave town. Maybe donuts tomorrow, Wednesday.
Wednesday. We're at the Omni tomorrow. Wednesday, bring donuts. And look, you've already given me 2 excuses this morning text that why you couldn't do it. Wednesday, you're going to do it. We need the donuts.
Wednesday's a good donut day.
Yes.
10:15 at the steps, boys. Tell Nick to be there.
We'll tell him.
Great.
Thanks, Clay.
See you, boys.
Appreciate you. Always enjoy Clay's calls.
But do we?
Yeah, no, they make me laugh.
We do.
They make me laugh.
I mean, we said this again. I mean, he's banned from Memorial
Find you
Gym.
someone that loves you as much as Clay loves us.
Right. He loves the people show.
He
Bring
made
us
that donut
donuts.
drop off to like a rendezvous, 10, 15 steps.
Don't be late.
You
And
got
he
it.
said your
Bring
name.
the stuff. Did he
I'm
say
worried.
Nick or Mick?
He said Nick. I was like, wow, he's got my name down.
Let him call you Mick. That way you're good to go.
615-737-1025. We'll continue the discussion coming up next. Brett Kern going to join us at the top of the next hour, as he does every Monday at that time. It's Chase and Big Joe, presented by the Omni Nashville Hotel, where we will be tomorrow here on 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Hey, Preds fans, don't miss Smashville Live coming up this Wednesday night at Brewhouse South down in Franklin at 6 o'clock. I'll be hosting this week. Jonathan Marchessault will be the guest player. So looking forward to having Jonathan Marchessault alongside Jay Moore and I. Come by and see us. You can get pictures, autographs, and hang out with Marsh. That's this Wednesday night, Brewhouse South down in Franklin. So looking forward to that at 6 o'clock. It is quite the time for Tennessee athletics right now. I mean, you obviously can't credit Danny White with all of it, but I think he runs a really good ship there. But I mean, think about this in, the last year, right? You've got Tennessee baseball winning the national championship. Tennessee football makes the college football playoff. Tennessee men's basketball continues to make the tournament and was in the SEC championship game yesterday, lost to Florida, but has a really good chance of making a run. Tennessee women's basketball, the Lady Vols, with a new coach, are back in the tournament and look pretty good as well. Baseball, once again, aren't they undefeated right now?
They are undefeated and took down Florida this weekend.
And then I think softball continues to be a powerhouse as well. I mean, the Tennessee athletics, you got to feel good about where you're at.
Look at where they were.
Right.
I mean, it's when I know basketball, Pearl put them on a different level and they had a little success there. And Konzo came in and all that stuff. And then, Barnes is built. So that's good. Baseball, Vitello, I mean, before that, they were okay. And now rolling, winning the national championship, going to Omaha in 21 and 23. There in the Lady Vols came out. They're the only team that's been to the NCAA tournament every single year since they reinstated the women's tournament. So it's like 40-something years that's happening now. So I think it's great. I think if Tennessee runs the table, of course, this is a hypothetical here, but if they run the table and you win in baseball, you win in basketball and football, I mean, it could be one of the greatest years in the SEC. I know Florida did it in 2006. They won the national championship basketball and football that same year. And the basketball wanted to get in 2007. They won the title in 2008 in football. But in a year, this will be one of the top 5 moments in SEC history if Tennessee could run the table.
Yeah. Oh, I agree.
Really good.
I mean, I agree. And I think, it's kind of funny. I'm always curious, Vols fans, if back in the fall, if I had said, hey, look, I'm going to jump in the DeLorean and I'm going to come back. I'm going to tell you your football team's going to make the playoff, but they're going to lose. Basketball is going to go to the Final Four and whatever, and we'll just say the Final Four. And baseball goes back to back. Would you sign up for that?
Of course.
Yeah. Now, obviously, you want to win them all.
Yeah.
I get it, but it's obviously hard to do. And here's the thing. We always sit here. What do we say every fall? SEC is the best conference in college football. Now, I get it. They haven't won the national championship in a couple of years. But I think it's because they beat up on each other. It has a lot to do with that.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're saying they're the best conference in college basketball. Now we're saying they're the best conference in college baseball. I mean, the dominance continues.
Yeah.
And but Tennessee has put themselves into a spot where they're in that upper echelon conversation in every sport now.
They are enrolling, and the baseball team, I'm told, might be better than when they were last year. The pitching depth on that Vols team, I was told, very good people within the program they are rolling, and those arms are good. Now, of course, you got
they're 20-0 right now.
20-0. Yeah, that's
swept
great.
Florida this week.
Yeah, and then but you look at basketball, and the funny things you focus on basketball is that last year they got to the Elite Eight for only the second time, I think, in program history, and it's tough. And now they've got another avenue there, at least get to the 16 and move on. But I mean, if they go to San Antonio and make it there, I mean, Vol Nation is gonna. Well, San Antonio, it'll be the second time in history that Tennessee has gone and taken over San Antonio. That's how we got the nickname the Volunteers. And it'd be great to see them in San Antonio and do that. A lot of fun. And maybe if Rick Barnes wins a title, he's like, see ya. I'm 70.
I would wonder. Yeah, I mean, I would wonder, would he walk off into the sunset if he won the title? And look, correct me if I'm wrong, but what I gather from college basketball people, that Rick Barnes is kind of like Andy Reid was in the NFL. that he's such a respected and just well, loved guy
Yeah.
that there would be so many people that would just be thrilled for him to win a championship.
Oh, absolutely.
Not just Tennessee, but just in college basketball in general. He's just one of the good ones that it's like you just pull for.
All right. For example, when Dale Sr. won Daytona, what happened after you won Daytona?
Everybody lined up on pit road to shake his hand.
Everybody
Yeah.
lined up. I think that's the respect that he has right now to do that. So it'd be great. Also in Patino, I had no idea St. John's was that good. I had
He's back.
no idea that they were that good. I know they were playing better, but they're a number 2 seed. And now, like, he's taken Providence, Kentucky, Louisville, St. John. Is there another team he took, like Iona or somebody,
Maybe
to the tournament?
Kentucky.
Kentucky. I mean, he's in the same bracket as his son.
I think so. Yeah. Richard's at New Mexico.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, what a great story he is. I know a lot of Kentucky fans can't stand him because he left and went to Louisville.
In fact, is this the first? So New Mexico is a 10 seed. They play Marquette. It'd be tough for. No, they're not in the same bracket.
Are they
I don't
not?
think. No, because Michigan State's the 2 seed in the South.
Oh,
South
okay.
bracket.
right.
St. John is in the West.
Okay.
They play Omaha.
I've never heard of Omaha.
Really? They have the college baseball World
Do they?
Series.
And they good steaks there?
Yeah, they do.
I've never heard of Omaha. I thought it'd be like Omaha, Nebraska. Is that the team? I mean, they all switch shape. Like UTC is now Chattanooga.
Yeah.
How dare you call them UTC? Don't do all that. But I think good for Patino. I mean, somebody also told me, and Connor Newt could verify this, he's one of the largest contributors to Kentucky's NIL.
Yeah.
I don't know if I know he contributed money, but somebody said, no, he gave a lot of money to Kentucky's NIL.
Yeah, I think he's tried to maybe right some wrongs there.
Did they ever give back the 13 title? Is that still vacant
I don't know.
for he won at Louisville? I know they took it away from him.
Yeah, I don't know. They should get. I'm a firm believer that vacating thing like that's stupid. They should give everything back.
I love you, but I just at that moment it was wrong.
I know, but like
It was wrong.
but here's the thing. What are you really doing?
Don't do it again.
But they were there. They celebrated. They won the game.
But illegally,
You can't take that away from them.
No, you can't. But you can take away the fact they got there illegally,
Yeah,
at least the time according to the rules.
I know.
And so like the Reggie Bush thing was a big problem. Like I was a conundrum for me. I was like, well, I mean, now and you see, and so you get torn between the two of those. But with Patino, I think it's great. I mean, that's a great story because I'm Patino. I was at the '87 Final Four when he had Billy Donovan and Providence playing down there. Now he's still going, and it's kind of cool in a way.
Yeah. And look, and there's a lot of people that don't like him, and they're never going to like him, and that's fine. But I think like. I was laughing at what was the quote he had? He had a good one this weekend. But he's real quick. Well, kind of has that quick sense of humor.
Yeah.
And just you can tell he's having fun. And I mean, he's a guy like he's 70 something, right?
So it has to be, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, his son Richard is 42. So
Was it the question they asked him, like, how are you going to celebrate this weekend?
oh yeah.
This one right here.
Coach, how do you celebrate tonight? How do you celebrate tonight?
I'm going to drink a quart of Jameson's.
Nice.
A quart of Jameson. That's what
That's
it was.
a lot.
Patino's 72.
72. All right. But like Bart, I think being around these kids keeps them young.
Yeah.
I really, really do. That you're having to adapt to everything you've known, and now you got a different group of kids comes in there. You got to get to know them, and you're feeling young and all that. Good for these guys, man. Coach until the day you drop dead on the floor, whenever that is. Whenever the good Lord calls you home, man, just keep doing what you love. All too often, we stop doing what we love.
So he took Providence to the Final Four. He took Kentucky to the Final Four 3 times, and then Louisville 3 times.
Is there another team? Is there another?
No, that's it to the Final Four.
What was the thing he did about maybe that's 5 teams he's taking to the tournament? Was he where was he before St. John's?
Iona.
Okay. Did they go the tourney?
Yes.
So maybe he's taken 5 schools.
I think.
He's the
Yeah.
first D1 men's basketball coach to win conference tournament titles for 5 different programs.
Wow.
Okay. So
know-
everywhere he's been, he's won a conference title.
Essentially so, yep.
That's pretty good. I know Eddie Sutton was up there before because Eddie
Except for
Sutton
Boston. I guess Boston University didn't do that.
was Boston
That's right.
Celtics.
He was at Boston.
No, he was at BU.
Was he?
He was at BU before Providence.
It says here he won it in 1983.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So he did. I stand corrected.
Was he at Boston? I had no idea.
So he started. Here's his coaching career.
Good Lord.
Assistant at Hawaii. He was the interim head coach at Hawaii in 76. Assistant at Syracuse. Head coach at BU 78 to 83. Left to go be an assistant with the Knicks. Went back to college. Providence 85 to 87. Knicks 87 to 89. Then he was at Kentucky 89 97. Left to go back to the NBA to the Celtics 97 to 01. Louisville 01 to 17. I don't know what this Greek. He coached in the Greek basketball league for a few years, and then Iona, and then St. John's.
Was he at Louisville that long?
Yeah.
Good Lord. I had no idea he was there that long. Well, good for him.
Yep. So there you go.
Yeah. I mean, that's again, I forgot about Boston University. I completely forgot about that. So young doing that.
Yep. 78 to 83. Hard to believe.
Good Lord.
Coming up next, we'll get back into some football with Brett Kern. He will join us coming up next here on Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Hour number 2, Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game here on this Monday. Hope you're having a great start to your week. Free agency in the NFL continues now, kind of in that second, third phase, I guess is probably what it is. But we say hello to former Titans punter Brett Kern, who's on the line with us. Brett, good morning. How you doing?
Good morning. You know who's having a great start to the week is Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, as they're probably going to go celebrate on a boat somewhere in a private jet. So they're off to a great week.
Well, let's start on that because I mean I think we all knew that that was coming, but for them to be able to do it together to make Jamar Chase the highest paid non-quarterback in NFL history and to make T. Higgins the highest paid wide receiver 2 in the NFL. I mean, now Joe Burrow has his weapons for the next couple of years. My concern is, can that defense, live up to what the offense is going to do?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. I've heard some stuff about Henderson coming back, on a new deal. But obviously, it's just, if they could just get an average defense, right? Not necessarily a top 10 or anything like that, but just an average defense to go along with that offense. And obviously they got Gesicki back, and man, they are potent, right? And so like you said, if you could just get that defense to an average defense, that's a very dangerous team, and obviously a very dangerous offense.
Yeah, I mean, I had a friend that's a Bengals fan tell me, give up 34 but score 35. I mean, that's basically what they're going to do.
Yeah, that's Vrabel always used to do keys of the game and all that kind of stuff, and he would call on guys and would ask based on watching film and all that kind of stuff, and so I never got called on, thankfully, right? But I know if I ever got called on, I said the most important thing is to score more points than the other team, and we'll win, coach. So never got the opportunity to say that, but that's what I would have said.
I like it for sure. Brett Kern is with us. The Titans, one of the moves they made is, unfortunately, they released Ryan Stonehouse, who you obviously know well, and they signed Johnny Hekker, who played for John Fossil, Bones Fossil, the new special teams coach. Played for him in St. Louis and LA with the Rams. I look at Hecker's stats. I guess when you talk about styles, and you can speak on this more, he's a little more similar to you than the big leg of Stonehouse.
Yeah, and I think understanding that if you're going to go like the Moneyball analytics, with contracts and stuff like that, the most replaceable position is punter first, right? You could have a guy, I could throw up the stats and they might be exactly the same. And you're just like, well, what does it matter? The stats are the same, right? Now they might punt totally different, right? But that's a position that's easily replaceable. And, the next position after that is running back. If you remember, back when, Derek got hurt and it was, who's it, Foreman and Hilliard, right? Yep. And they go out and the two of them rush for almost the exact same as what Derek did, right? Now we obviously know Derek is Derek, right? He's not replaceable. But just from, if you're looking at stat wise, it's a replaceable position, right? So punter's the same thing. I mean, Stonehouse was, set to make, 3.2, and now you bring in Johnny Hekker, who's, getting a veteran minimum deal, and counting 1.2 against the cap. So there's a $2 million saving right there. And from a statistic standpoint, Johnny's one of those guys that, he's going to kind of put it more towards the sidelines. He can hang it up there too. He's got all the tools in the tool bag, right? And so, Johnny had a pretty good year last year. He obviously didn't gross as high as he normally does, but his net was still effective. And, he had a bunch of fair catches and, only giving up 6.8 a return to give up 178 yards of return yards all year. Obviously, it's a testament to your cover team, but, it's a compliment too to how he's punting. So not surprised, different special teams coaches, some of those guys are like, hey man, you out there, you bomb it, we're going to cover it. Other guys are like, hey man, we kind of want you to dink and dunk here. Like, I need you to hit your spots, to make it easier on the coverage team. And so, obviously Bones wanted his guy and Johnny was his guy.
Well, and what's interesting real quick, Joe, is Stonehouse now signs with the Dolphins, and I think he's reunited with Craig Aukerman.
Reunited. That's right. Yep. He is down in Miami with Auk, and we'll see how that competition goes down there with Jake Bailey.
We're talking to Brett Kern on the Chase and Big Joe show. So, Brett, again, explain to the Titans fans who go to the game on Sunday at Nissan and see Ryan Santos boom 70-yard punts and think, why would you cut a guy who can do that? But there's much more to this. I was shocked. I know he outkicked the coverage all the time, but I just thought it was fun watching him because you knew he was going to send a rocket into space. But for the Titans fans who don't understand this, it kind of explain again why he's gone.
Yeah. Well, personally, I think it's more of a money issue, a $2 million saving, and then obviously you're re-signing Morgan. My guess is there's some pretty good kickers coming out this year. And so it wouldn't surprise me if they try to go draft one late. But I think there's enough kickers that they could probably pick up a pretty darn good kicker, undrafted. So now you're looking at your special teams, your three specialists are going to roughly cost you $3.5 million against your whole cap. Where if you look at somebody like Seattle, between Jason Myers and Dixon and the snapper out there, they're closer to $7-8 million against the cap, right? So it might be fun for everybody to watch somebody go out there and boom it 70 yards every time, down the field. And that's like, oh, that's so entertaining. But from a coaching standpoint, you're having a mini heart attack. Like I said, I mean, Hecker, gave up, 26 returns, 178 yards, right? That's 6.8. Stonehouse was 47 returns, almost not quite double, but 655 yards of return yards. So it's a difference of 477 yards that you gave up. Roughly almost 48 first downs and an average of 13.9, right? And so I think that's Bones isn't. So like I said, Auk down in Miami, he might absolutely love that. And that's, hey, go boom it, right? We'll go cover it. Kind of the Shane Leckler where Oakland, well, now Vegas, but Oakland used to go out and get two gunners that can run a 4-2, 4-3 and just tell them to go cover it, right? And it worked, right? But Bones probably has a different philosophy of, hey, we're not going to give up a lot of return yards. We're not taking chances. We're going to go down there. We're going to cover, and we're not going to let special teams, lose games.
I'm looking at the highest drafted punters of all time. Ray Guy is the only one that went in the first round. Of course, he's a Hall of Famer, but a friend of ours on the show here, Craig Colquitt, went the third round to the Steelers back in 1978. Do you know Craig? Have you ever met Craig?
I have met Craig. Yep, a couple times.
Yeah, I mean, he's lives in Lebanon and all that. So it just shows, you talk about when you say drafting a punter in the 7th round, I just hear Titans fans like, oh, you gotta be kidding me with this. Would you take one of the 7 or will you wait to free agency? But you have a guy, you just write it with Johnny Hecker and like, all right, if you get injured, we'll bring somebody else in. But Johnny, you're our guy.
Yeah, Johnny's the guy for sure. And then, I think they do look at drafting a kicker late, right? 7th round, 6th round. Because I do think, there's some pretty darn good kickers out there now with this international program. I mean, there's a kid that came over from Germany, and he went 14 of 14 at the combine and didn't miss. And and like where do you find these kids, right? And so there's a good crop of kids out there that can kick, and it usually kind of ebbs and flows. Like one year it usually goes like every 3-4 years where you're kind of have a surplus of kickers. And then there'll be like a dip in kickers, and then there's like a surplus in punters. It's just weird. It just ebbs and flows. And I think right now you're kind of at a surplus of kickers that are coming out. And so if you could go get one 7th round, I think there's enough of them potentially where you could get a pretty good kicker, as an undrafted free agent. And now here's your kicker potentially for the next, however many years, if he can come out and perform.
That's great. They did the combine, but you, Brett, were in on one of the top 10 influential plays in Titans history, the field goal versus the Chiefs, and was 30 degrees. I mean,
30 degrees, you're generous.
I mean, that's great. You could do that at combine, but when you're in Arrowhead Stadium, you're doing a game winner with all that going on. I mean, that's when I want to see if you can get the job done. I mean, but you never know till you know, right?
Yeah, you never know till you know. Like it's, you can put enough pressure on the guys, relatively early, whether it's training camp, OTAs, you can kind of get an idea of what they can do a little bit under pressure. But then obviously, you get to preseason games, there's a little bit more pressure. But obviously, once you get to the real deal and those bullets really start flying, you find out pretty quick, who can do it and who can't. But then, you look at what Green Bay did last year, right? Where, they were kind of struggling a little bit and they bring in Brandon McManus, and obviously he fixed their kicking issues for the rest of the season.
Right.
So there's going to be, veterans out there. And at worst case, you tell Nick Folk, be like, hey man, you still ready? You still good? We're going to try these, 2 young kickers that we're going to bring out. If it doesn't work, guess what? We're signing you.
I'm trying to rack my brain, but did you ever mess up as a holder? I don't think you did you?
Oh, I did, for sure.
I don't remember a game. Is there one that stands out?
Yeah, I was in practice.
Oh, we don't talk about practice, man.
Talking about practice.
No, I did have. Well, I had one in college. That was just not. It was not great. The snap was right there, and it just went right through my hands. That's when I was young, unprepared, didn't have the right muff, didn't have the right hand warmers. I learned my lesson pretty good back then. But yeah, I mean, I think there was one in preseason. I think we were playing the Vikings, and it was just pouring rain. Ball was soaking wet, and the ball was just kind of right around my face mask, and it just slipped right through.
I don't think you did. I think you're being generous. I'm trying to wreck because I saw all these games. I don't think you ever messed up.
Well, I also had at Cincinnati, it was the snap was kind of low. It kind of hit off the turf, and I just couldn't get it. I couldn't trap it and get it up quick enough. And so, yelped fire. Of course, I rolled out and I tossed the ball away, and I got, obviously hit. And that's when I broke my wrist and my elbow, and I missed, I missed 3 games. Those are the first games I ever missed as a Titan. So I guess I have messed up.
Yeah, I remember that now. Hey, real quick, Brad, I want to ask you this. With the moves the Titans have made in free agency, obviously a couple of them geared towards the offensive line to make them more of a veteran offensive line. Are things starting to point you in the direction that they're going to take Ward 1 overall?
Yeah, I think so. You kind of strengthen your offensive line. So you bring in more in to get him to left tackle. That way you get J.C. Latham, over to kind of probably his more natural role at right tackle. Skronsky's obviously back. Hopefully you get Cush back, healthy, ready to go. And then the addition of Zittler, from Detroit, obviously a veteran, 35-year-old guy he's an offensive lineman that played at Wisconsin. What else do you need to know, right? So, they're obviously bolstering the offensive line, and I think all signs point towards Cam Ward for sure.
Yeah, going to be interesting. Thanks as always, Brett. Appreciate it. We'll talk next week.
Sounds good. March Madness time. Let's go.
Let's go. Fill your brackets out for sure. Brett Kern, former Titans punter, joining us here on the program as he does every Monday at 10 o'clock. We'll react to some of those things that he had to say and much more coming up next. It's Chasing Big Joe, presented by the Omni Nashville Hotel, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Are things starting to point you in the direction that they're going to take Ward 1 overall?
Yeah, I think so. You kind of strengthen your offensive line. So you bring in more in to get him to left tackle. That way you get J.C. Latham, over to kind of probably his more natural role at right tackle. Skronsky's obviously back. Hopefully you get Cush back, healthy, ready to go. And then the addition of Zittler, from Detroit, obviously a veteran, 35-year-old guy he's an offensive lineman that played at Wisconsin. What else do you need to know, right? So, they're obviously bolstering the offensive line, and I think all signs point towards Cam Ward for sure.
That was Brett Kern in our previous segment. Welcome back in, Chasing Big Joe. 615-737-1025. Our phone and text line driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. And we are broadcasting from the Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville studios. Home with a $99 yearly Beehive membership where the buzz is always about great service. So I feel like a lot of people are leaning in that direction that, okay, the signs are pointing you towards Cam Ward at 1-1. We talked about it earlier that there could still be a scenario where the Giants are desperate and they want to make a trade and the Titans move back to 3, in which they would probably at that point get Travis Hunter or Abdul Carter with that pick if they decided to go that route. But right now it feels like the veteran type offensive line. Here's the other thing too. And I'm curious of your thoughts on this, because we spent so much time basically trying to say it's not that big of a deal for a guy to move from right tackle to left tackle. Now they're moving him back to right tackle. If he turns out to be an all-pro right tackle, who cares if he was taken 7th overall?
That's a good point.
I
go back to when they drafted Michael Griffin in 2007 and they tried him at cornerback, and Fisher was damn determined that Michael Griffin and he wasn't good. They moved him to safety and he starts cracking some skulls. It's like, that's where he belonged. I mean, I don't think the experiment, and then, you try to convince us all last year that J.C. Latham's going to be a solid left tackle when he was average and he kind of petered out towards the end of that. But if he comes out and is a good right tackle and dominates,
who cares?
We can't go back and change the past. And if Dan Moa comes in at left tackle and you got Latham at right tackle and they're a good 7-8 years like Stewart and Roos were, I think it's gold.
Yeah, I agree. And I think we get caught up way too much, on where a guy was drafted. And I get that that's something that's going to stick with them their entire career. But look, Corey Davis was not worth the 5th overall pick. We know that now.
Not at
but
all.
Guess what? He turned out to be a serviceable, good number 2 receiver.
Yeah.
For, you had A.J. Brown that clearly outplayed being a 2nd-round pick. If you reverse the two, everybody would have been fine with that.
Yeah, and that's another thing. In that 17, that Adoree Jackson, they got him like 17th or 18th.
He's not a 1st-round pick either.
And had him at 5. I think if they could do that again, they'd package both of those picks and then trade them out and then gobble up more things on the back end of what goes on. But look, you live and learn. 18, Rashaan Evans, was it 16th or 18th pick, was terrible. And then you hit it 19 with Simmons and A.J. Brown and Amani Hooker, and then you do good. But I think in this situation now, I still believe somebody's going to throw so much at them that they're going to be tempted to say, all right, we're going to do that. And I think it's going to be the Giants if things fill out, that Rodgers goes to Minnesota, Russell Wilson goes back to Pittsburgh. There's no other quarterbacks out there. And they're going to say, all right, we know what? Let's go get the number 1 pick and figure out what we can do. Brian Daboll can train him and coach him and everything. And the Titans running back to Brandon. I'm not bad. Brandon Allen's okay. It's not Will Levis, and it sure as hell ain't Mason Rudolph. So I'm okay with it because I know it's temporary and you can build and win some games and go forward. You're not going to the Super Bowl this year, no matter what you say. So run it back and gobble up draft choices and go. I just don't think I think that number 1 pick has so much leverage that they trade out of it.
I'm wondering if anyone, like if the Giants were to call and say, hey, we really want to move up to 1, what'll it take? If the Titans go, we want, we obviously want 3. We want either another 2nd rounder or a 3rd rounder. We're going to give you Levis as well. You have to take Levis. You just throw that in.
They'll do that. I think we're underestimating how much value that number 1 pick has, that you could hold them.
Well,
you want it, come get it.
It is year to year. I think it does have value. I'm not saying it doesn't. I don't think it has as much value this year as it would have last year.
All right, let me ask you this. Last year, Caleb Williams at number 1. How much was their consternation over Caleb Williams? Very little, if I recall.
Yeah, very little. I mean, it was
So you knew.
by this point last year, we knew he was going to be the number 1 overall pick.
All right, Manning in 98.
We knew he was the number 1 overall pick,
Manning
and
and
Ryan Leaf was number 2.
But you knew. All right, Aikman in 89.
Yeah, I would say
You knew.
you knew.
All right, Jamarcus
Russell.
in 2007. There was a lot of consternation.
Yeah.
I'm telling you,
Yeah.
if it's not everybody not built in on it, it's not worth it. And this has nothing to do with it. But you go back to the UC Saros thing,
Mhm.
signed long-term deal. It was 50-50.
Yeah.
There was no 90%. You got to get him. And there was no 90%. He sucks. It was 50-50.
Yeah.
I think when that much consternation over something, it's not right.
I
So
think-
pull out of it.
Yeah, I think that's a fair point. Fair point for sure. 615-737-1025. We'll get back into hoops and other things going on. Also want to tell you, tomorrow is your chance to win tickets to a Preds game by participating in Preds Pick to Click with Robbie and Rexroad. They'll do that during their show tomorrow. All you have to do is guess a Preds goal scorer, and if they put the puck in the back of the net, you are a winner. So listen for the cue to call tomorrow on Robbie and Rexroad. It is Chase and Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
Curiosity leads to large crowds in Mobile's Crichton community, many of you bringing binoculars, camcorders, even camera phones to take pictures.
To me, it look like a leprechaun to me. All I gotta do is look up in the tree. Who else seen the leprechaun and say yeah?
Eyewitnesses say the leprechaun only comes out at night. If you shine a light in its direction, it suddenly disappears.
My theory is it's casting a shadow from the other limb.
Could be a crackhead that got hold to the wrong stuff. And it told him to get up in a tree and play a leprechaun.
God, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid, man.
This guy helping to direct traffic says he's prepared for his encounter with the leprechaun. He's suited up from head to toe.
This wars off spells right here. This is a special leprechaun flute, which has been passed down from thousands of years ago from my great-great-grandfather who was Irish. I just came to help out.
Others just came to get lucky in hopes a pot of gold may be buried under this tree.
I'm gonna run a backhoe and uproot that tree. I want to know where the gold at. I want the gold. Give me the gold. I want the gold.
That's a real story. They
That's
thought they saw a
fantastic.
leprechaun, and they all went crazy. He came out at night, and they were going to kidnap him and take his money.
The amateur sketch is just comedy.
Look it up on YouTube and see it. It's truly one of the best stories of all time.
You'll love it, Chase.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, Ricky just texted and said that video makes me laugh and cringe all at the same
Oh
time.
my God, goodness! And that guy said my great great grandfather was Irish, and he had that whistle. It's like
The flute.
the flute. Yeah.
Happy St. Patrick's Day to everybody out there. I did not wear green today as we talked about, but if somebody tries to pinch me, I will hit them.
I think
Don't touch me.
pinching 30 years ago was okay. Now it's like it's a lawsuit, isn't it?
Yeah. Just don't touch me.
I mean, if I walked in the hall and pinch somebody else, female,
HR.
yeah, that's right. I mean, I'd probably deserve it that
Yeah.
way.
Yeah, that's how it would be.
Yeah.
It is for sure.
Our buddy Gator Mike was like, "Where's the Florida love today?" And I was like, "The first half hour of the show, we praised Florida, and I think Chase and I are pretty much on the same page that Florida should win the national championship after what we saw on this weekend here in Nashville."
My favorite is when, I mean, Gator, we love Gator Mike, but you know, I think what's hilarious to me is when somebody's like, well, how come you haven't talked about my team that like nobody in Nashville, Tennessee cares about?
Right.
Florida is different, obviously, but
Yeah.
look, I think Florida is going to win the whole thing. They are my pick.
I loved watching that guard for Florida, Walter Clayton Jr. When they try to trap him,
yeah.
he is so good dribbling the basketball. I was like, God, why can't I be something good, like half as good as that in my life? At something? Just so good. My thing with college basketball, and it drove me crazy again this weekend. Like a big guy, I forget which team it was, had like an easy 8-footer to go, but these big men are so soft that he tosses it back out to a guard for a 25-footer that clanks off the rim. That's why Shaq was so good, because you get the ball to Shaq down low, he's dunking, and you're going to stop him? Try to stop him.
Right.
Now these big men are so timid. But
Everything's
LSU
just
had
a
a guy
perimeter game.
that's 7 foot tall, and every time he got the ball, I thought he was going to poop his pants. He was scared to death. Like, if you're that tall, just own it and go dominate everything. And they just don't anymore.
Speaking of LSU, how would you like to be the two teams of the SEC, South Carolina and LSU, that didn't make the tournament this year?
But LSU was awful.
And South Carolina was too. But I mean, it's like 14 teams get in, and we're all praising that, and we should. But then it's like, oh wait, 2 didn't.
Did South Carolina get an NIT?
I
don't know. I was just paying attention to the
Well, does the
NTSU.
SEC get an auto? Do they get an auto bid in the
I
NIT?
thought they did. Because the 500 record doesn't matter anymore.
No.
You just get in. So I thought, look, if you get the chance to play, and I was reading this morning, some teams have, the years have opted out of a tournament. It's not the NCAA. Why? Just go play. Have some more fun. There's no pressure now.
Because the players are opting out, I'm sure. Let's see here. Well, I'm trying to pull up a bracket from the Tennessean and the website crashes. So don't
Call
touch
Mike
me.
Organ.
Damn it, Mike.
He's sitting around doing nothing.
It's not true. He's probably hanging
Doing
out with his
nothing.
cat.
Taking pictures like Bob Crane.
Don't touch me. Thank you.
Sure.
All right, here we go. Here it is.
All right.
Who are you asking about?
South Carolina.
They're not there. They are MTSU's in the Dayton Regional as a 4 seed.
So Dayton
just
plays
you know.
FAU. If FAU beats Dayton and Middle beats Chattanooga, then Middle gets another home game. But they have a home game tomorrow night.
They're not in it.
South Carolina's not in it?
No.
All right. So I don't know. I mean, NIT it's fun. I mean, it's it's number two.
I will never forget as long as I live. I asked my dad one time, what does NIT mean? And he goes, not in tournament.
But the 30s, 40s, and 50s, NIT was the
sure.
tournament, man.
Right.
It was big time. Remember, Lipscomb went to the final game in 19 versus Texas.
Mm-hmm.
That was fun watching them and Casey Alexander and all that. So I think it's very cool when these teams, like when Belmont did it, but now Lipscomb's doing it, getting to the tournament and watch them go play. I would love if they beat Iowa State.
If Middle, yeah, I would love to see Middle run it. And
where were you that day in 2016 when Middle beat Michigan State?
I think it was here. Because that was like one of the first like kind of cool well, I mean, it wasn't the first, but it was one of those like, hey, I matter moments, because as soon as they won that game, like an hour later, Kermit was calling and I was recording an interview for my show with Kermit.
Yeah.
I had the first interview with Kermit Davis, that we played the next day on my show.
Sure about that?
Because I was doing, well, I don't know.
I'm just kidding. I was getting ready to go to work at Channel 4 and I was listening to Chip Walters and they weren't missing 3-pointers Middle. I'm like, okay, well, Michigan State's going to make a run. That's how it happens. And I get to work and it's not happening. And then Middle is just going crazy. Then they started having fun.
Mm-hmm.
And I never forget, like 12 minutes.
They led the whole way, right?
Yeah. They're like 12 minutes to go. They got a big lead. I was like, they're having fun. And Michigan State made a couple of runs at them. And then that next morning we headed up to St. Louis to watch, and spent the day with Middle. They played Syracuse the next day in that zone at Syracuse. Middle had no idea what. The biggest upset in tournament history because so many people picked Michigan State as a number 2 to win the championship on all the brackets.
Really? Oh.
And that knocked I know there's been a 16/1. I get that.
Twice.
Yes,
Virginia,
twice.
but was it Virginia? Yeah, Virginia was beat.
Yep.
And then won it the next year.
That's right.
Who's the other one? There's another one. It's happened twice now.
Yeah, so I thought that'd be the biggest upset, 16/1, but they said bracket-wise, because so many people had picked Michigan State, that's still the greatest upset. Bracket percentage-wise, you analytic nerds would love that on the tournament that happens. It goes down. So anyway, it'll be fun. There'll be more teams that'll be knocked off on Thursday and Friday. Was it Auburn last year?
No, it was Fairleigh Dickinson beat Virginia in 2023, and then UMBC beats who they beat in 2018?
Virginia.
So Virginia's lost twice?
No.
Is that right?
They won it in 19, so they lost in 18 over in
give me the results.
Charlotte or Raleigh or somewhere over there in North
Virginia.
Carolina.
It was Virginia.
Twice they've lost to number 1 to 16.
So wait, am I wrong on Fairleigh Dickinson?
They lost in 18.
So yeah, 2018 was the first time that it ever happened.
Right.
And then 2023 was Purdue. It was Purdue. That's right.
Okay.
I had it wrong. It was Purdue.
What was the team that went on the run and beat Kentucky, made it all the way to the Final 8, and Carolina smashed them? St. Peter's, St. Joseph's?
Yeah, St.
The
Peter's.
Peacocks?
I think it was St. Peter's.
Yeah, St. Peter's.
Yeah.
The Peacocks.
They knocked off Purdue, knocked off Kentucky. That was fun. That's fun watching that. Greg Sankey wants all that gone. I'm like, no, man. That is fun for the tournament. Why? Like Lipscomb. If Lipscomb can beat Iowa State and make a run, that is fantastic. That's why the little guy beats the big guy.
Saddle up with the Bisons.
Let's go, man. Now, look, is it Bisons or Jill Jellick and I had this talk yesterday. Is it Bisons or Bison?
I think the proper term is Bison. because it could still be used as a plural form.
Okay.
but not an English teacher.
So you know what's interesting? All right, so Virginia loses to in 2018, right? To a
Yep.
16. They win it the next year.
Mhm.
Did
Purdue got beat by UConn last
that's
year.
right, Purdue, yeah. But they got there.
Yep. Because
That's
they
right.
beat Tennessee.
Yeah, that's right. See, now it's all coming back.
Can you name the Final Four teams from last year?
UConn, Purdue,
Mhm.
Duke.
I-
I have no
NC
idea.
State was there.
Is
Remember,
that right?
Remember the big guy, the big center is like 6'9", 600 pounds?
Zach Edey.
That's Purdue's guy.
Yeah.
Then Hazo with the Grizzlies. But I can't remember the other team in the Final Four last year.
Was
Yeah.
Auburn?
No, they got beat in the first round by, was it Princeton or Yale or somebody last year in the first round?
UConn, NC State. It looks like Alabama and Purdue. They're the other two.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. It was UConn, Alabama, NC State, Purdue.
Okay. And then
That's
in the
right.
final was UConn over Purdue. All right,
Yeah,
there we go.
yeah.
Look at us,
That's
man.
right. By the way, we're speaking of UConn real quick. Their ESPN, the E60, they did a really cool documentary that I watched the other day called The Other Hurley. It's about Dan Hurley.
Yeah.
Really good. Talks about his dad and brother and how, they had all this success and it was always about them. And he was kind of like the other one. And now he's at the table.
I'd like to, don't take this the wrong way. I'd like to fight him.
Okay. I don't know
Can
why
we-
I'd take that the wrong way.
Can we do a segment on them coaches we'd like to fight? I'd like to fight for some reason. I just don't like him.
Okay.
And he doesn't like me. It's on record, but that's okay.
Okay. All right. That's fine.
All right, buddy.
I'm good with that. Coming up next, we'll tell you what day it is and celebrity birthdays. But before we do that, caller number 5 at 615-737-1025. You're going to go see Shinedown at Bridgestone Arena Saturday, May 10th. 615-737-1025. You will win tickets to see Shinedown at Bridgestone Arena on May 10th. Good luck with that. Celebrity birthdays. And what day is it next? 1025, 1063 The Game. Chasing Big Joe on this Monday, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. DVD coming up next. Looking forward to that. They'll continue the bracket talk and Titans and all of that. But right now, let's get right to it. It is time for What Day Is It? And Celebrity Birthdays. It's brought to you by Jarrett Companies, Inc., above and beyond industry standards. The only company you need for commercial construction services. Just visit them at jarrettcompaniesinc.com.
All right, gentlemen. First on the list today, it is not a download. Act Happy Day. So,
every day.
Campfire Girls Day. So the girls go to the campfires, I guess. Let's see.
What?
Thanks.
I mean, it just says Campfire Girls Day. So I don't know if there are campfires that women go. I don't know.
You're like a young Bob Mueller, like recapping the story that you just heard 3 times.
I'm just going to continue. Corned beef and cabbage day.
I love corned beef and cabbage. My mom made some yesterday, and it was fantastic.
That does sound pretty good. Doctor Patient Trust Day is today.
Is that better than Dr. Pepper?
I don't know if it has 23 flavors, but it might.
Okay.
Dribble to Work Day. National Welderly Day, so the wellness of elderly people.
Oh, I like that. That's good.
St. Patrick's Day, obviously.
Yeah.
And then to wrap it up, we have Submarine Day.
Sub sandwiches?
I don't know, like the actual submarine.
Okay.
That goes under the water.
Would you go on a submarine?
Hell no.
I think it'd be fun to do one time. I'd probably freak out, but I think it'd be fun to do.
Well, I went on the sub that's in the movie with Tommy Lee Jones and Steven Seagal. What's that called? Down in the USS. There's a sub that was next to it.
Yeah.
There's a battleship and then there's a submarine that was next to it. I went on that thing and that was if you take me out in the ocean, I pass. But I'm not gonna. I don't mind walk when it's
so. If you went to like, a tour and it's like, hey, we're gonna go.
Nope.
We're gonna go out. We're gonna do a dive and then we're gonna come back up.
As claustrophobic as I am, I have trouble sitting in this room.
Okay,
I'm not doing that.
All right, that's fair enough.
All right, time for celebrity birthdays. Got to get them within 2. The great actor will start this off. Kurt Russell. How old is Kurt Russell? Who, by the way, played the best Elvis of all time. Kurt Russell.
That was good. 72.
74. Chase on the board. This is going to be good. I feel something good here. Our good friend of the show, actor Gary Sinise.
I'm going to say 72.
63.
70. Chase up 2-0. I'm liking this. Rob Lowe.
63.
58.
61. Chase up 3-0. He's popping the outside corner, folks. Another friend, your friend, Billy Corgan.
Oh, okay. Smashing Pumpkins. Billy Corgan, Smashing Pumpkins. Homer Simpson, Smiling Politely. I will say he is 56.
54.
58. Chase up 4-0. Still popping the outside corner. My
call me
goodness.
Greg Maddox.
Singer Hosier.
Ooh. 42.
43.
35.
Okay.
Can you name a Hosier song?
Nope.
All right, here we go.
Take Me to Church.
There you go. That was the song they put here.
Yeah.
Actor Patrick Duffy from Dallas and show Step by Step, wasn't it, with Suzanne Summers?
Yeah. He was on. There was another one too.
Man from Atlantis was also a show.
Patrick Duffy. I'm gonna say 74.
73, and this is the one on VHS.
Yes, that one. Yeah, that one.
The Dallas on VHS.
Yep.
He's 76. Chases up 5-0. Pop in the corner. Country singer Paul Overstreet lives here in Nashville.
You got a song? He did.
I want to bop with you, baby, all night long. I want to be up with you, baby, till the break of dawn.
62.
68.
70. Dr. Crane's on the board.
There you go.
5-1. Actor Casey Zamasco. I'm saying his last name wrong. He was in Young Guns and also the movie 3 O'Clock High. He was the nerd that beat up the bully. Casey Zamasco. There he is, Zamasco.
58.
54.
64. Gotten old. The bass player for the Smashing Pumpkins, Melissa Off de Moi.
52.
58.
53. Chaser, 6-1. I'm digging this. Hold on. We got some time with this. Rapper Swifty of D12.
48.
50.
50 exactly.
Nice.
6-3. Tracy Wolfson, CBS.
53.
49.
50. It's now 6-4.
Ooh.
It's changed that quickly. Hold on, this is good. TV personality Rob Kardashian.
35.
38.
He hold on. He is 38. Holy cow, we're tied at 6.
Good
All
job.
right, okay. Denny Ainge, basketball player.
73.
65.
66. Dr. Crane's on the lead, 7-6. I'm loving this. Mia Hamm.
59.
57.
53. Kyle Korver, the basketball player.
34.
42.
44. Dr. Crane's up 8-6. This is amazing. Cordero Patterson, former UT Vol.
34.
31.
Holy cow, he's 34. It's tied at 8. Our last birthday, the Olympian, Katie Ledecky. How old is Katie Ledecky?
22.
28.
28 exactly.
Ah!
Dr. Crane at the buzzer wins 10-8. What a game.
The
Good job.
madness. The madness.
Oh,
Good-
yes.
Good job, Dr. Crane.
Thank you.
Brought to you by Jarrett Companies Inc. Above and beyond industry standards. Visit them at jarrettcompaniesinc.com.
Yeah, as always. Hey, listen to our guys out there. Look, it's the weekend's over. Now we're back to work. And listen, if you need to talk to somebody on your cell phone, you can call or text 988. Somebody's always there to talk to you. Please talk to someone. Nobody's going to say, call me later. We're going to talk now. And also to our guys out there, please do this one thing. Stop imagining suffered trouble. Stop doing that. Don't imagine the worst of things. Imagine the best, because you're the best. Remember, we love you. More importantly, God loves you.
Yeah, amen to that. Peace, love, rock and roll. DVD coming up next. 102.5, 106.3. The Game.